What's up guys, my name is Kalma Mudise.
My name is Takalani Ralipata.
My name is Reservoir Sukulu.
I'm so excited to be here doing the
blind garage pie tasting.
We have gathered 3 South African participants to blind test some of the best garage pies in South Africa, based off of your comments on Reddit, to settle the debate on who actually has the best garage pie in South Africa. All of the pies have been prepared following the cooking instructions on the packaging.
Am I gonna get full? Possibly, but I got a belly, bro. But let's start with the feel and look. Okay, so we've got a pillow right here that is shaped as a pie and is a pie. Pastry seems quite heavy. The weight on this is also quite heavy.
This one is rectangular shaped. Looks a little bit like a, ooh, what's going on over here? I don't know if you guys can see, but we're getting a bit of wetness here at the bottom. I feel like that's from a very wet gravy.
Good egg washing, very nice and even. Probably got more to do with the baking process than anything else. Much better on size.
But the bottom so far is not giving the top, you know? As a pillow, sometimes you turn it around when you want another comfort side. I'm not comfortable with this side right now, but still looks cool. I mean, it's giving crunchy if you can hear. I don't know if you can hear.
Seeping into the phyllo pastry, which is not a good sign. You never want it to be too wet and overpower the rest of the contents and overpower the phyllo, which isn't a good sign.
Yeah, I suppose you can either have it in an oval shape or a rectangle like this, but overall, good looking pie. I think this would probably be about a 7.
Yeah, it's giving crunchy right now. So yeah, gold is gold, just like the egg yolk thing that I like. It looks like a fresh sunrise. So yeah, I'd give this though, just because of the weight, feels a bit squishy. I'll give this a 6.5 so far.
Very evenly egg washed, and it's very, very crispy. Very, very crispy, which is a good sign. And it is quite weighty as well. I would give this one a 6.5.
Ooh, you can hear that, eh? Yep.
Yeah. The gravy is quite watery, very on the watery side. Not quite what you want. I mean, ideally you'd want a nice, thick, rich gravy.
This looks a lot better from a presentation perspective. Looks a bit meatier, not as saucy. So you can actually see meat here.
A lot of meat in here, 0 gravy already. You know you're gonna get full from this. I say all my gym goers, whatever this pie is, fill up it, but I'll let you know from the taste. Yeah, there's a little pocket there. I think most pies we'll see will have this little pocket to, you know, protect the top crunch.
I mean, the whole reason why we use pepper in a pepper steak is because the pepper brings out the innate umami flavor of the beef. But I don't know, it's such a watery gravy. I don't know if that's generally gonna be the case. The ratio is quite good. I would say it's leaning towards almost 50-50, as you can see, but I would give this, I must admit, I'm a bit disappointed. I'm gonna give it a 4.
A lot of it is, as you can see, it's already folding over, so I don't think there's a lot of bottom foundation for this pie. But yeah, I think I'd give the cross-section portion of this video also a 6.5.
The pastry in itself is good, and yeah, so I'd give this about a 7 when it comes to what looks like the filling.
Hey.
Very nice, actually. Less chunks of meat, but you can definitely taste the meat. So probably, I would say that they probably just either made the meat pieces very smaller or they shredded them a little bit, but you can taste the meat, but it's not big chunks of it.
You know, I can still clap this, bro, to be honest, but yo, it's like there's a lot of meat in here, but it's just as mushy as the gravy. They were not hiding with the pepper. There's a lot of pepper in this pepper steak. Like, there's more pepper than meat here, bro.
Not overly peppery, but you can definitely taste that it's a pepper steak. Yeah, hard to fault it. I mean, you know, we're talking about pies. It's about an 8 on the taste wise, eh?
So, yeah, I'm gonna do this to a 1 bite. It's not like, when I chew it, I still have pieces around, like, you know? I don't know. I'm gonna blame the pastry for this. The protein, they could have seasoned it better. I think, yeah, 6.5 right now.
Yeah, 1 bite's enough. Yeah, no, I'm a bit disappointed. Just watery gravy. The beef is just swimming when there is any beef there. Swimming is the wrong word. The beef is drowned in that gravy. And it can drown because it's basically water, as I previously said. Very disappointing showing on my part. I'm going to give it a 5. And that's being nice.
First metric though is how does it feel? Okay, this one's giving middle weight. You know what I'm saying? It's looking like a Conor McGregor. Very sunrise happy right now. You can see that golden brown on it. I'm very loving that.
It looks like it had to be egg washed, so that's quite evident on the top. Little smaller than I think what is the average size out there. Otherwise though, it looks okay, pretty standard.
This is a very conflicting pie. Like, honestly, I would like to say that it looks perfect, but in looking perfect, it's a little bit soulless. Yeah, I mean, aesthetically, it's pleasing. The egg wash is there and everything, but it just lacks a certain panache. It's already coming undone at the seams over here. You can see that there's multiple layers of phyllo just to make sure that it doesn't sink. But look over there, it's a little bit big bottomed there at the bottom.
Looks like a normal garage pie, a little bit on the smaller side there. From external look and feel, I would give this about a 6.
It's quite crunchy. You know, you can hear the crust. It's already separating, so you know these things are cooked perfectly, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's kind of dropping at the bottom, so I think they piled this with a lot of cow, so it's exciting. I think from appearance, this is definitely a pie I'd get at a garage. Yeah, I'll give this a good 7. I think this is a hard 7.
Which is never a good sign. I feel like just one poke and all the gravy would come rushing out. So I don't think the pastry is that thick. It feels very, yeah, manufactured and soulless. I would give it a 6. A 6. Yeah. Oof. Yeah, it just comes collapsing. Yeah.
This one, the gravy's low-key already trickling down. This is what I like. It's a bit thick, so firm. I'm enjoying that. Doesn't seem like there's much protein in it, but yeah, this is your cross-section. There's a lot of foundation, as you can see. It's not droopy. Not much air space in there, so I'd give it like a 50-50 ratio of pastry and meat. Yeah, it looks very nice. It looks fresh, so I'd give this also a 7.5, I think.
It looks very saucy. The meat doesn't jump out at you, so it doesn't necessarily feel like it's particularly packed filled with meat. Quite flaky. I would say that they would probably be a little bit conservative with the filling, if I say it nicely. But it looks good, color's good, smells good, peppery. Yeah. Look and feel, internal, about a 5.
Looks like a wet diaper. So already everything is just oozing and gushing out. The structure has completely collapsed. I cannot see any meat in it whatsoever. This is disappointing. From looks alone, oh gosh, I'm gonna give this a 3, honestly. Like, it's not very appetizing, is it?
My favorite part, the taste test.
Oh. Yeah, I can't even swallow that. Way too much pep.
Okay, all I've got there is just sauce. Sauce is nice and tender, nice and peppery. Meat, nice and tender. Not bursting at the seams once again when it comes to the meat. More sauce than anything else. It's a decent pie. Rating, about a 5.
Oh. But I'm coming back for this one, damn. The flavor profile, wow. Seasoned perfectly. They weren't stingy with the meat. Serious big cubes. I'm surprised that the pastry was able to hold it all in. The foundation of that is strong. They were very light with the pepper, which I enjoy. But each their own, you know what I'm saying? I think this could possibly also be a Shamrock. I don't know, but I'd rate this an 8. This is a good 8.
Way too much pepper. Like, I understand it's a pepper steak pie, but way too much pepper. There was no meat in that bite whatsoever. It was just gravy. Very disappointing, very disappointing. Overall, I'd give it like yeah, I'm gonna give that one a 4.
Presentation wise, definitely not to the level of some of the earlier ones. Also looks a little bit on the smaller side as compared to some of its competitors. Obviously they all had to be egg washed, but I'm seeing far more cracks on this one. Not quite as smooth a presentation. Obviously nicely golden brown, but that's got more to do with the egg wash than anything else. Yeah, not the best looking, eh? It's about a 4 presentation wise.
Yo, guys, this is a boat. This is a real boat, heavy. You know, they actually did a lot of work putting decoration on the pie because they care about the customer, me, feel me? It's very crispy on the top, golden brown. Shout out the person that put the egg on. Yeah, it's not actually, like, there's no seams around, so it means that they, you know, I forget the term, but they close the pie nice. They seal the pie very correctly. Yeah, it's not sounding as crunchy as the others, but looks super crunchy compared to the others. I guess because I can't hear much of the crunch, it's gonna drop my score, but I think I'll give it a 7 on the dot. Yeah.
All right, from the onset, this one is a lot more ornate than the other ones. You know, back in the medieval times, the more ornate a pie was, kind of equated to more distinguished the person who was eating the pie was. So your nobility would have very ornate pies, a lot of different things to make it stand out and kind of proclaim the wealth of whoever was eating the pie. But that's not really what matters. Come the 19th century and the Industrial Revolution, it was a working man's food. So yes, it might be dressed well and it looks like something nobility would eat, but what really matters is, does it have the soul of a working man's pie? But looking at it, it's quite heavy. Quite the little parcel. Yeah, I must admit there are a few cracks here by the let's call it a dressing, shall we? So that bodes badly, and the egg wash does look a little bit uneven, though that might be more with the actual baking than the actual preparation of the pie. But overall, I will give this a 6.5.
Okay, they do make up quite nicely when it comes to the meat side of things. Looks like they've also got a pretty good ratio of sauce to meat. I can see some nice big chunks of meat and not too much sauce, but I think just enough. Pastry, not great. So from an internal look perspective, I think what helps it a lot is the nice big chunks of meat that you can see. And the sauce, obviously not too much of it, but a fair amount, which is okay. Internals, I'll probably give this about a 6.
Right as I look at the filling, it is gushing, oozing out of the phyllo pastry shell, which is a good sign. And it's not watery, it's thick, it looks very, very substantial. The meat, oh, you can definitely see the meat along with some pepper flakes as well. Oh my goodness, I think you really need to see this. The ratio of pie crust to filling is perfect, I would say. Absolutely perfect. This is textbook. I feel like this is what a pie should be. Actually feels wrong to eat this. I feel like I'm desecrating a work of art, but here we go. Oh, before I eat it, I need to rate it. Sorry, I'm a bit excited there. I'm gonna rate this an 8.
And cross section, you know the vibe. You guys can see that. Feel me? This one, honestly, this is like a serious 80-20. You know, filling is on 80, pastry is on 20. There's small gaps right there that you see. I guess, again, it's always just to protect the top crunch. It looks like there's not much gravy seeping out of this, more just like a stew of the steak inside. So yeah, I'm excited to see how it tastes. Otherwise, my rating, I guess there's no seeping through, but the portion size is fantastic. I'll give that a 9 just for portion size. Yo, okay. I gotta break this one down very seriously, huh? This pie, at least the protein, definitely is fresh. And like you can, you know when you're eating a steak, you can feel the fibers break down. Like, this is really fresh pie. Like, I think they're using non-frozen meats. I guess the pie is frozen, but the meat, the filling that they put inside is definitely fresh. This is exactly what a pepper steak pie should taste like. I think all pepper steak pies need to take some notes from this pie. Ah, wow, this is really good. I'm gonna keep it at 1 bite. I'm getting full, but this is actually one of the best tasting pies I've ever had. Very good. The crunch, you know, as much as it didn't come across as crunchy, was very subtle. And yeah, the pastry was also very thin, which I enjoy a lot because you get to enjoy the protein more and get like a bit of the pastry flavor inside. I think taste, flavor, my taste score would definitely be, I think I'll give this an 8.75.
The meat is very good. Good ratio. Also not overly peppery. Just want to try this meat again, which I think is quite impressive. Meat quality is very good. Nice big chunks. Good flavor. Yeah, I just boosted all the way up to about an 8, eh?
Oh, definitely. One of the best pies I have ever eaten. Big, juicy chunks of meat. The broth. Overall, this is a bloody good pie. I would give this a solid 9.3. Though I feel like I've tasted this pie somewhere before. I think there is like an air of nostalgia attached to it, but I feel like I know what it is, but let me not bet on it yet. But yeah, if you excuse me, I'm gonna finish this off. But definitely, yeah, 9.3. 9.3.
Honestly, first thing is the weight, bro. This feels like a heavy pie. And for me, that's a big, good mark because it means I'm gonna be full, hopefully, right? Yeah, it's giving crunchy, man. I ain't gonna lie. It's very golden brown at the top. Maybe it's the egg laid on top. I always appreciate it when they use the egg yolk on top. That's my favorite type of thing. It gives it that sunrise look, which I like. Very brown on the edges. The dough seems quite thin, so it means possibly there's gonna be more protein in here. So yeah, I'm excited. I would rate, just by looking and feeling it, hardcore 7.5, because I guess the rest of my rating will come through with the taste. So.
Externally looks like a good healthy pie. Looks definitely bigger than the first one that I tried. Liked how it's come out by way of cooking nice and golden brown. Obviously egg washing. But I think of the three pies' external look, probably the best looking of the lot. I have a bias for the rounder shape. But this also looks a little bit healthier than that first one, a little fatter. And it looks like it's, well, I'm not going to comment too much on the cooking mechanism per se, because obviously that's got nothing to do with the making of the pie. But it looks good. So from an external perspective, I would say that this is about an 8.
This, it's quite okay. Nothing to write home about. As you can see here, the seams have already come undone, which is a little bit disappointing, but I suppose it also could mean that it's filled to the brim. Very nicely egg washed. The crust feels nice and flaky, and the weight is quite substantial, Overall, I would give it 6.5, yeah, 6.5 out of 10. Sounds quite nice, I'm not going to lie.
I don't know if you guys can hear that. Again, really good ratio, I think, of sauce to meat. So again, not necessarily oozing out. There's nothing wrong with good amount of sauce, but I think in the first one we were overwhelmingly a lot of sauce. Here, I think you can see some nice good chunks of meat. Probably the best looking of the lot so far when it comes to appetizing in the inside. The crust also looks very nice and flaky. So from an internal perspective, understanding that we're looking at pies, this is probably about a 9.
Okay, let's have a look-see here. Ooh, very, very saucy. A lot of crust, a lot of sauce and a lot of crust. Not much meat that I can see, though I can see flakes of pepper, which is always a nice sign for a pepper steak. But yeah, it looks like the ratio of crust to meat is about 60-40, leaning more towards the crust. But let's give it a taste and see, shall we? Oh, what would I rate it? I would rate it I'm gonna go a 5, honestly.
I feel like ratio to pastry is even 50-50. There's not much of a gap between the protein and the pastry itself, and the pastry is still crunchy. It looks a bit soft inside. The gravy, I don't know. There's some gravy, it looks like they're a bit stingy with it, but I don't want too much gravy pouring on the plate. But I'd like to, possibly I'd also like to, yeah, maybe have it spilling over. There's a bit of a gap there, which I like. It protects the top crunch for me. So yeah, I'm excited for that one.
That's a quality pie. You taste the meat, nice and chunky. Slightly less peppery than the others. I think you can definitely still tell that it's a pepper steak pie. Crust is nice, good and flaky. Yeah, I think taste-wise, I would probably give this about a 9. Nice and full, good meat, good flavors. It's a good pie.
Damn. The pepper overrides. a little bit for my liking. It's quite heaty. Not that much meat, it's mostly gravy, to be honest. The inside of the phyllo is a little bit too wet for my liking. Overall, 7.5.
Let me rate this properly. Flavor-wise, it's amazing. I think the flavor of this pie is very balanced. It's not too salty. It's not overpowering the pastry. The pastry itself is well, good and crunchy. I really like it. It's crunchy but very decadent as well as you get to like the meat and the gravy, which is something I really enjoy because it's like, I get bored of textures. If it was all goopy and stuff, I wouldn't enjoy it a lot. Gravy, I mean, they withheld a bit of the gravy, but it really supports the pie. I think most of the gravy got absorbed by the pastry itself. But yeah, the outside shell is still very crunchy. Inside, it's seasoned perfectly. There's a lot of meat over gravy, I believe, which is also very good for me. I like protein. And yeah, taste, I'm gonna rate this, I think I'm gonna rate this 8.5. Just giving it an honest rating. It might change, but 8.5 right now. I really enjoyed that.
Okay, so you just tried 4 pies. Can you rate which pie you had? So what pie did you have first, second, third, and last?
Alright, the first one, it was a good all-rounder. I feel like that was a PieMans. I feel like that was definitely a PieMans. Second one, I think that was a KingPie, if I'm not incorrect. The third one, I knew from the get-go that was a Shamrock. I'm very well acquainted with Shamrock. I went to varsity at Rhodes in the Eastern Cape, and that's the only pie you could get. I would be able to taste it anyway. And the fourth one, I'm going to guess that was the Woolworths.
Close. So the first one was actually the Woolies pie.
Ah.
Second, KingPie. Third, Shamrock, correct. And the last one was the PieMans pie.
Ah, okay.
Yes.
I would say that the third pie was Woolies. And the reason why I say that is that it looks very well presented. And we all know, Woolworths and their food quality. Excuse me, I would say the fourth one was Shamrock. And that's purely because of the look and feel and like being a little bit different. I think they would want to make that differentiation. Then the other two, it's between PieMans and what's the other one? And KingPie. Sure. So I'm going to go with KingPie for the square and PieMans for the one that I said was the smallest.
Good job, you've nailed it, yeah.
All of them?
10 out of 10, yeah. Good job. Okay.
I don't know what that says about me.
Okay, I know I said a lot about Shamrocks, and I just realized now looking beside me that we had Woolworths pies as well. Okay, the first pie, I think, that last taste test also just jumbled everything up nicely. Okay, the first pie, I think I will give, honestly, to Woolworths. It was a bit too perfect. Woolworths always likes to do that. Tasted a bit expensive, but their seasoning they go fast. I think first pie was Woolworths. Second pie was the pillow, hey? Yeah, second pie was the pillow. I'm definitely gonna say that was KingPie's. Hi there, man. Third pie definitely had to be PieMans. And then, Pierre de Resistance was the Shamrock pie, the real meat pie. I farmed this straight from my back garden pie, the A1 exclusive executive made pie. Oh my gosh, yeah.
Hey, good job, you got all 4 of those correct.
Hey, no one believes that I know pies, bro. I be going out, you know what I'm saying? I be coming home late and I need a pick-me-up. And anytime I get picked up, it's definitely from a pie. So shout out the garages, man. You guys know how to pick it.
Is there any pie that you tried today, or rather, is there any pie that you wish you had tried today that's better than these pies that you have tasted?
There is one pie that I tasted once in my life that I will never forget. It was my first week at Rhodes and it was a long night out. And we used to have this ritual of going to BP for what we would call a BP run, where we would get pies at the end of the night. And then I saw this thing called a sweet and sour pie by Shamrock. It was a sweet and sour gravy with pork in it. Changed my life, and I've never found it anywhere since. If it's out of production, Shamrock, please bring it back. But yeah, that is the pie that changed my life.
I think these are probably the most common and most popular, so probably not. I mean, one could always overthink it. I think we were talking earlier, I said the likes of Saint Pie, I think I know from the industry, makes a decent pie, but I think we'd be overthinking it. I think these are all definitely in the top 10. Whether we picked 1, 3, 5, and 7, or whether we picked the first 4, I don't really think it matters that much. I think the nice thing was that we had a good differentiation, a good wide range. And I think Shamrock deserves a notable pat in the back.
You know, I guess, yeah, this was like a good first time trying a Shamrock pie. But there's one pie that, hey, I don't know if you guys, people at home, if you know, but Mama's pies, hey, that hits my heart, bro. That hits my inner child. I think that's the greatest pie ever made. And you don't ever find them at a garage. So I don't think it's a good metric to compare, but definitely a pie that I wish I could have tried today, or I didn't try today, was definitely the Mama's pie. Shout out Team Mamas, you know the vibe.
After all participants rated their pies, we have one definitive winner. Engine Woolies pies at 70 points. Then Shamrock 67, KingPie 57, and lastly PieMans at 52.